Quinten Timber, brother of Urian, the Arsenal fullback. However, Quinton tends to be a midfielder, can play a few positions, can be a sort of central midfielder, a 6 and an 8, predominantly an 8, known as box-to-box. Injuries we're going to have to talk about at some point, Bart. I think you're going to like the price point that we're hearing or talking about. I suppose the ultimate question is when we run the metrics, as we're going to as ever, could this boy be a good squad option at the right price? And we know some of the analysts are quite big fans of Timber, but there's a few flags, let's say. So I'll leave you to run it as normal.
So you look at minutes played, top up per 90. So this season he's in at 1,300, down from 26 last season. Clearly, there's been some injuries this year because he's only made 18 starts and he made 31 last year, and there isn't that much. That's not that long left in any seasons across Europe. So, yeah, that's almost half the minutes, right? So, yeah, that's something turning out to be one of his lowest seasons in terms of minutes. Yeah, so something to be wary of going forward. I haven't looked at transfer market, so I couldn't tell you what the injuries are, but yeah, something to be thinking about. As a midfielder, we got his just got past it probably. Stats. So goals, if you top it per 90, goals and assists, he has got 0.39. He has had a 0.54, so those are actually not too far off some of our forwards.
Yeah.
Our forwards are at around 0.6, right? So he's had a 0.54, which is fine. That's for a midfielder. Okay. Some things I like. Some things to like on that one. If you look at his passing, stuff a bit down. I'm trying to find his aerials actually, which they haven't got. Which is always a worry. We'll look at his normal whack and wheel then to go there. Defensively, that'd be right. Aerials 33 percentile. So yeah, as a midfielder, you'd expect he'd be able to compete. I don't know what has he got his height on here? No. So I couldn't tell you what his how high he is. But that would be a worry if he's going to play in centre mid. We need certainly a 6 to be aerially dominant. In terms of blocks and interceptions, he does a lot of the covering, which we need. Slightly low for blocks, but interceptions makes it out with 59 percentiles and needs 70 percentiles. That's okay. It's probably one of the better ones we've seen tonight. If I'm being honest with you, in terms of what he does on the ball, so he receives a lot of progressive passes. So that suggests to me he's more of an 8 than a 6.
Yeah.
He takes players on. That's grab style. Carries the ball 60 percentile and is in the 82nd percentile for midfielders in the attacking independent box. That's third man running. That's like Dominic Szoboszlai type thing. Does not pass the ball in any 82nd percentile pass completion, but 82% pass completion accuracy, 34th percentile for actual completion. And he's in third percentile for passes attempted for a midfielder who is our workhorse. The ball goes into midfield, it goes out, but they generally are a pivotal part in us moving that ball around the park. And I'm being kind, but they are really low for a midfielder. All right, 82% passing rate, that's great, but the volume is just way down on what we'd expect. 29 passes per 90. That's just, I mean, some of us are more. So that's a really low amount. What does he do in the box? Not involved in a lot of goals, 15 percentile, non-penalty goals, 34 percentile. Assists though, 80th. So clearly create shot creating actions, dribble, maybe across, those kind of things. Or the minimum amount of passes he does are really close to goals to create it. So yeah, a bit of a weird one, if being honest with you. Carries it a lot, but then so low on the passing. Like Graf carries the ball, but he can still pass the football. So, yeah, to see that starker contrast is an interesting one. Now, comparing him, let's find our two midfielders that we were comparing to. I've lost them already. So you want to compare him to our current stock of midfielders. We would generally compare with Brian. So, as I said, Ryan largely dominates on nearly all the metric or matches him apart from dribbles and progressive passes received, because he probably plays higher up than Ryan. And this again, Ryan, that doesn't do that for us. Yeah, shot creating actions as well doesn't do that. If we try and find McAllister is the other player that he would be competing against. And again, McAllister dwarfed him on metrics apart from aerials, tackling, and some of the defensive metrics. So, yeah, so there might be some physical elements that would go in Timber's favour. If we look at some of the stuff that I would run for him, similar kind of game as we've just done, he's operating a little bit further forward, than he we looked at. Not a lot of connections there, if I've been honest with you. But if we look at after first subs, yeah. But the thing you got to look at here is the build structure. We generally have triangles linked across, and we have two. Yeah, you would see triangles all over with the two boxes. Yeah, that's the different build structure. So it's not impossible, and the footballer should be able to learn and do it. But he's used to building in a different way, and he's not as connected as our midfielders generally are. So if we look at as I've given you a few little breadcrumbs, he is not on the ball a lot at all. But for a centre mid, that would be an orange flag if you want to be in there. Yeah, because our centre mid generally should be the safe ball. I'm in trouble, I'll give it to a centre mid. And then a centre mid will keep it, move it, find a forward or find a defender. To not be on the ball that much is a little bit of a concern for me. Offer some passes in and around the zones, okay, cool. But it's just that volume isn't there for me. Threat, he's not going to do, what does he do in terms of defensive? Just to work it down, I think he's even listed, which is a bit of a worry. In the areas he's operating, not a lot of threat coming, but then, as we said before, they generally create down the wide areas, so he's not connecting with those areas. And off the ball, so he's in and around these areas. They have got quite a high amount of defensive actions in those areas, but it's more the fullbacks doing the work for the side defensively. And just checking XG wise and shots, he took one shot and wasn't involved in any XG. So yeah, as always, I'm always intrigued by what the club have got data wise for him. But for me, there's a few too many red flags for a midfielder with that low pass percentile, I have to be honest.
I suppose the final bit, and we'll keep this brief then, see if I can move you away from a complete no to see what, again, the info that we've dug for is, other red flags to say. His season's over now, pretty much, that he's missed 24 games and he'll miss more before the end of the season. So that minutes aren't set to increase, although it's a good minutes record before that. Can obviously worked with on a slot, so that works in the bit, like you say, clearly profiles more of an 8. And the big standout is successful take-ons. He moves the ball really well. There's no two ways about it, up and down. Just doesn't pass it at all, really, particularly. It is the big thing. Price point, Bart, because this is one I remember when I got it, I was like, really? Really? But the intimations are the club have had a good look at this player. A year left on his Feyenoord deal, and suggestions somewhere even around 15 million could get it done. 15 million.
What's the injury? Is it a season ender? Is it knee?
Yeah, a knee ligament.
Yeah, see, for me, I have to be honest with you. I said to you before our pods, I'm not buying. I don't want to buy injury-prone players anymore. I want to buy bomb-proof. I remember I loved Ox when we bought him. He was a cheaper player at the time. He gave us some great memories, but ultimately he broke down. And it's do you know what I mean? I think injury record is a key indicator in signing a player. And if you've got a player who's got a history of injuries and or hasn't recovered, because we've been buying him while he's still recovering from an injury, I think that's a huge red flag, and I would not be stumping any of my money on.